Shalom Aleichem again.
Shalom.
Boker Tov is in order. Of course, Boker Tov is Hebrew for good morning. Although we say Boker Shalom for peaceful morning. But only to those of my people, our people, that loves peace. That's because most of our people do not love peace. They don't even like peace. They strive off of war, ignorance, fights, disturbances, evilness, wickedness. And that's why my father said that he only wanted to be in the presence of those of you that loves peace. Remember? Yeah, you remember. If you don't remember, some of those who may not have never heard it, it's at the editorial of all those television presentations that were televised. It's called The Universe of Warfare. All those episodes back in the 1990s, maybe a few in the 2000s, but most of the 1990s. And doing that editorial, your Ab's voice would come on, who they call Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You would hear his voice, and you would see a lightning bolt and a saltpeter door opening, and say, I shall rise on the third day. And that's who you see, a photo image over my head. I'm here, I'm all of him and for him. Okay. He's known internationally now. He's known as internationally as on this planet. In Hebrew as Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, Beit-Fun Sophie Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh. In English, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. That's how he's known. But historically and universally, he's known as Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, God. The mighty God, also the Prince of Peace. He made that clear to those who were listening and could hear him when he said it, that he is the mighty God. God. We're going to, in a few moments, we're going to play a video that was recorded back in 1986 in his office at the time, that was headquartered at our headquarters, our temple, the temple that was titled, I quote, the Temple of Love, end quote, that he named it, that was located in Miami of Florida, where we are right now. We are in Miami of Florida, of the United States. We had not moved from the city. Where he chose to place his ineffable name here as promised. And that is where we are, in Miami of Florida. And that temple was located just a few blocks from where we sit right now. The address recorded as 2766 Northwest 62nd Street in Miami of Florida. And they have a postal zip code recorded as 33147. And that is where he departed from that building on November 6, 1990. In his white horse, also known as a stretch limousine, Lincoln Continental. Stretch limousine. To go on his final tour. Supposedly scheduled to go across America. Stopped in Tampa, Florida. And then the next stop, or two, the last stop was in New Orleans, Louisiana, where he was taken into custody by the United States federal government's Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI. And they thought that they arrested one known as, quote, again, Yahweh ben Yahweh, end quote. Not realizing who they had in custody. Maybe they did. But I know that many of his own children didn't know who they had. They're still calling him Yahweh ben Yahweh. Some even initially with YBY. And some resume and stick with Yod Wafe. Beth Nusuf Yod Wafe from right to left. That bears a meaning. And the meaning, that meaning is the Father, God, the Father, comma, the son of Beth Nusuf, the son of Beth Nusuf, Yod Yahweh, God. So you have God, the son of God, or Father, the son of the Father. Not to fail to mention that the Father cannot be the son of the Father. There's an appellation. But our people are still thinking that he is the son with the Father's name. That they do here, although he was born in a similar situation of his terrestrial so-called parents, supposedly the son of a so-called man, but the same name, last name, Mitchell. Same first name, Hulan Mitchell Sr. And he being the first born to come out of that womb of his wife, Pearl, then they took it upon themselves to name him after the father, that father, after the daddy, Junior. Hulan Mitchell Jr. Not ashamed of it. It's historic. It's historical. You can't escape the truth and the fact of what happened. All prophetical. But they didn't know that. My people here in the United States, the great-grandchildren of slaves, still are. They make a mockery out of that. So y'all are following a man. You're following a man from Enoch, Oklahoma, Kingfisher, whose name is Hulan Mitchell Jr. Hadn't studied the last name Mitchell. Neither had they studied the only time I've ever heard of someone named Hulan of a slave. Hulan. There's a meaning. But they hadn't studied that. Following a man. We're following a man, and yet they are going to church following paintings of, not paintings, not photographs. Paintings of a man. They were painted by Michelangelo, using his cousin, his homosexual cousin, to model for him, as he painted. Michelangelo. They call that man Jesus. We're following a man of flesh and blood, right? Organs in the body, a body of flesh and blood, heart, brain, all the body organs, functions. And yet they're following a painting with brush, colors, and a little talent to paint such body on canvas, historical. Even those who are not Christians and following the Greeks' Jesus God, they're following Haile Selassie, who's another body. Krishna, another body, the Hinduism. I haven't seen a picture of Allah, unless they are referring to Muhammad ibn Abdullah, who created Islam. I haven't seen a photo or a painting of Ishmael, where they get that from. And we have our own people today who are following the Muslims, the Arabs, and Islam, because it's the closest thing to Abraham. So they took upon themselves to follow that religion. We do not practice religion. We do not recognize it. We do not worship religion. We follow, observe, and we are of the true and only living God, whose ineffable name is Yodid Wafe. Again, that's one of several. That's a photo image over my head in the back of me. That's a photo image. That's not a painting. As he came in the flesh, Word made flesh. And his name is Yodid Wafe. Now, many are confused as to who he is. He told them who he is. I'm going to let you play it in a moment. But first, I'm still introducing my Father. He will not give his name to no other. The God of Hebrews will not give his name to no one else to bear his name, ineffable, Yodid Wafe. So how could Yodid Wafe be the son of Yodid Wafe? You don't study. They don't study. Read. You have a Bible up there? Go to Jeremiah chapter 10. That'll be our first. And speaking of Jeremiah chapter 10, grab your study tools. Take out your study tools. And this piece, I said Shalom Aleichem, but that's only to Judah and Israel. I'm not wishing peace upon no other nation on this planet. Only Yehuda, Judah here in the United States with me, and on the islands of the Caribbean, all over the planet. Judah, if you can hear this wherever you are, the child of a former slave, Shalom Aleichem. And to the other 10 tribes of Israel, Aleichem Shalom. To you, only to you, Israel, Yisrael Yahweh. Welcome. Take out your study tools. The Bible, King James Version. The most preferred. Why? It's the closest that was translated and then printed on a printing press and released to the public in 1611. The closest to the original scrolls. King James Version. If you ever get in, there's an excellent replica of the King James Version. Take out your Strong's Concordance, your Greek and Hebrew lexicon, your synonym finder by Jerome Irving Rodell, a dictionary unabridged if you have one, encyclopedias, a set of them if you have them, so you can look up this history in the encyclopedias. And most importantly, what? Writing utensil. Find something to write with, something to write on, take notes, get a notepad, take notes. That way you won't leave such foolish comments in the comment box later. You can take notes. Before you leave a foolish comment, study it and take notes first and then go over it and see if what I speak is a lie. I bring nothing less than but the truth. Read Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 10, please. Start at verse 9 so we can get the foundation of what the subject is.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 9, quote, "Silver spread into plates is brought from Tarshish, and gold from Uphaz, the work of the workman, and of the hands of the founder. Blue and purple is their clothing. They are all the work of cunning men."
Whoa. And we have some of our people today wearing purple and all kind of colors. They even have fringes on the bottom or the hem of it and have no idea what the word fringe means. They took it literally, not realizing that fringes is not good. No, fringes is not good. The literal fringes puts a fringe on your face. But these are cunning men. Go up to verse 8 for a moment. And let's see, let's go up to verse 8 for those who say that we're following a man. I mean, could you imagine we are following a man in the same Bible in chapter 1 that's called Genesis, the book. It's in verse 26, it says that let us create man in our image. That was God speaking. In verse 27, it says, so God created man in his own image. So it's not safe to say that because we follow a man, we're following God. And how can we have a greater image than God? And we are men. So what is God, since we can't follow a man? Is he a ghost? A cartoon? A cow? Like the Indians follow a cow? Pakistani? It's not safe to say that we're following a man
Okay.
of flesh and blood. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
We also have the right to follow and serve and worship who we want in this country under their constitutional right. First Amendment, the freedom of religion is one of them.
Okay.
And they say that we are following a man. What are they in verse 8? Read that, please.
Verse 8. But they are altogether brutish
They're brutish.
and foolish.
What? Are you reading the Bible, or are you picking at these people? Are you mocking these people?
Read in the Bible.
Now, the next thing they'll tell you is that we don't believe in the Bible, especially King James Version. We don't believe in that. We use the New Standard Versions that broke it down for us. We can read according to how we read and write. Instead of breaketh, we say break. They took off the TH. You have no idea why, but what the TH stood for. Only one thing it could mean is the truth. What else it says?
The stock is a doctrine of vanities.
Vanity, the stock. And what else?
Verse 9.
Okay, you read verse 9. Now read verse 10. I believe it begins with a word that says what? But. Now, I want all the buts to hear this, to say we are following a man. All buts. Hear this, but what?
But the Lord Yod-Heh-Wav is the true God.
Now, you see in your Bible, as he read and put the name in there, it says Lord. Is what it says?
Lord.
All caps.
All caps.
When you study this, you go to your dictionary. That's why I told you to go to the dictionary and you look up Lord. And some Bibles in the back that was made and published in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, I believe. In the back of those Bibles, it has a dictionary. And in that dictionary, under section Y, there's only one name that's there, the Y. It says Yahweh. Yahweh. And then it goes on to say something like, the covenant God of Israel. In the King James Version, wherever the words Lord and God appear in large and small capital letters, the original scroll, the original Hebrew reads Yahweh. Actually, Yod-Heh-Wav, because it's not English, it's Hebrew. Yod-Heh-Wav. 3 Hebrew characters. 3 Hebrew characters. One of the 3 positioned twice. And they are from right to left. Yod-Heh-Wav. In English, Yahweh. That's what it's dictionary. YHWH they put it in the Bible. Dictionary. And you're telling us now, and reading as they read along with us in your Bible, don't listen. That's what the problem is that most of our people have. They listen to what people say. They follow people and listen to what they say instead of searching it out for themselves and research and study it. If it's a black man or a white man, they follow him. Even they call themselves the black man or the white man, they follow them and don't study them. It's not proven. And they name themselves, or they get a name and then they run with it and don't study their own name. This testimony that we've been bringing to you now for the past few days is designed to help you to study. And we're going to do what we're supposed to in helping you to study, to show thyself approved, instead of following people, especially holding up signs to support another person who's a devil, and have no idea who they are that they're following and supporting in prophecy. But the Lord Yod-Heh-Wav is the what?
Is the
true God.
True God.
It didn't say a true God. The true God. He is the what?
He is the living God.
The living God with a heart, blood that's being pumped from the heart, through the veins, through the body, a brain, which is an understatement. I don't know if you can really call God having a brain when he created him. That's why it's omnipotent. And the blessed only potentate. The living God. And what?
And an everlasting King.
He doesn't come and go. He's not a temporary true God, living God. He's not temporary. That means he did not die on May 7th, 2007. I see you read everlasting.
Okay.
And what?
At his wrath.
You mean he gets upset? Go on YouTube and see how upset he gets of what's going on right now on this planet. Talk about some climate change. And it's caused by humans. So now humans are causing climate change. That means we have billions of human mother natures on the planet now. Billions, like almost 8 billion mother natures on this planet that's caused climate change. And the only climate change that I ever knew, they call seasons. That's being governed by what they have created called an almanac that starts with the spring. Spring, summer, autumn, fall, winter. 5. That's the second hay. Part of the second hay of its alphabet name. It's called nature. Controlled. Not climate change. Could you imagine? They don't want to give him any credit. In their Bible, it tells them he's the living God. It has a wrath. And his wrath, I believe, is going to say something like the earth shall tremble.
Okay. The earth shall tremble.
They call it earthquakes. Go look online. Huh? And the nations should not be able to abide his indignation.
And the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation.
Sound like I'm not reading it. It's in my soul and my mind to know that. I'm not reading it. It's over my head. I'm not looking at the monitor to read it. I have a laptop in front of me. It's no secret. See, that's because I don't follow my own script. I only speak what's been spoken to me. Whatever I hear, that's what I speak. And I'm going to show you things to come.
Yeah.
I'm not a wannabe. I am an am. A-M. I am. I'm not a B. I want to be. That B-E-E is in the carcass of the lion. I wrote of them. What else you have?
Verse 11.
Verse 11.
Thus shall ye say unto them,
What?
the gods that have
not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from under this, on the earth and from under these heavens.
Okay.
Is that what it says?
Okay.
Don't need to read it anymore. I mean, it don't make any sense. They're going to perish.
Perish.
All right. I think we made that clear. I think it's perfectly clear. That's who he is. You got it?
Okay.
For the record, I want you to play the video. But before the record, this is being recorded. We're now on live stream. Social media's book, Facebook, live stream. And this is now the middle of the 30th day, the 30th and final day of the 6th month. 30th and final day of the 6th month of our solar year. Recorded as 6024. And the calculation of this day, the day, the month, and the year is of Yohewav's solar calendar, which is in care of our solar time. Solar, the sun. Our time is governed and ruled by the sun. Got it? The time of the solar time is of the Celestial Lodge of Yohewave. And that is who we are. We are of the Celestial Lodge. He is the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, and we are his children of the Celestial Lodge as angels of the Celestial Lodge. That's who we are.
Okay.
Also, for the record of this recording, and at this same Monday, today is Monday, it's Monday, September 6th of their calendar, 2021, of their calendar. I'm going to explain how that calendar came into existence in a few moments. But it means that we only have one more day at sundown. One more day of this Gregorian calendar, and that will be observed tonight. Monday night, Monday at sundown tonight, and go into Tuesday, September 7th. That will mark the end of our 180-day count that started at sundown Wednesday, March 11th of this year to sundown Thursday, became one. And then tonight at sundown will be Tuesday at sundown. We'll start day one of our 5-day count of putting those days back on the altar that were removed. They were not added on March 11th at sundown, that Thursday. And those 5 days will constitute and lead us right to September the 12th, next week. And that will be, in fact, the first day of the 7th month. And just to reiterate, on the 12th day of this Gregorian calendar will be our memorial of blowing trumpets that we read. You can resort to other parts that we've presented already, parts 5, 6, but actually from part 3, I believe. So the 12th day is our High Holy Day, recognized as the memorial of blowing of trumpets. Memorial of blowing of trumpets. And on the 22nd day of this month will be our Day of Atonement. And at sundown Sunday, September 26th, will be the first day that we observe the Feast of Tabernacles. We're going to come back to that. But for right now, play that recording that features our that many are still calling Yahweh Big Yahweh. I want them to see what he told them. A group of reporters that came in his office. Play that and let them hear what he said so himself to those reporters. I'm going to make sure you turn that volume up as well. Just click on the screen. Click on the screen. Okay.
Can you persevere? Did you start teaching right here, or in this neighborhood, or in Miami?
And you can read that for yourself. I don't have to open the book and read it for you. In John chapter 1, it states that in the beginning was the Word was with Yahweh, and the Word was Yahweh. Then it goes down to tell you that the Word would become flesh and dwell among men. I am that flesh, and I'm dwelling among you today. Then it goes on to tell you that I would come to my own people, from whom I'm born, and that they would receive me not. Though I'm in the world, though the world is made by me, and I'm in the world, yet the world knows me not. So the world has to come into the knowledge of me. So that for that reason I'm rejected. I was rejected and despised by my own people. That fulfills the scriptures. Totally, I have lived that. Then, after I demonstrate my persistence, that I would be rewarded with those who would come into the knowledge and who would be believed and be redeemed. And that's what I'm doing. And of course, then the world will take notice through the work that I do. And I've lived that. I'm living it. All that the word is, from Genesis through Revelations, I'm living it. Because I come in the volume of this book, all 66 of them.
So you're speaking of both the New Testament and the Old Testament?
Yes, and Revelations.
And But in the New Testament, you reject the emergence of the Messiah.
No, I am the Messiah that is prophesied. I am the Messiah of the New Testament.
But the books that talk about Jesus are not are out of date or
That's prophetic. You see, Jesus, the man that is called,
Yeah.
remember his name is Yahshua.
yeah.
Yahshua was a disciple of John. John was the man. John was the prophet. The man called Jesus, when he was baptized, baptized had nothing to do with the water. Again, the scriptures are written figuratively, literally, in metaphors, similes, in prose and in poetry, and full of allegories. So when you read of the man that was called Jesus being baptized, and being put underwater, then I would have to teach you what baptized means. You'd have to break down the word baptized in all of its letters. See, every word is scientifically composed of letters that are words within themselves. Every letter is a word. So when you break down the word baptized, you have B, which follows A, and I am A. Alpha. B follows the series of A. And B is also the word BE, which comes into existence as a result of A. So, therefore, John was prophesying about A coming, which is the first in the series. And the second set of the word is APT, meaning apt. Now, to be apt, you have to be, that meant that the man was baptized by John, had to become clever, adroit, sagacious, etc., in the ism of John. That made him an ist. That's why he was called John the Baptist. See, he too he came to be in the knowledge of Yahweh, and he then subsequently became apt in the ism, which is the dogma and the laws of Yahweh. So, since John was the one that was the prophet, then the man that was called Jesus was baptized by him. That made him a student and a disciple of John, not the one. And when he attempted to assume the mantle of the one, he began to teach secrets that were not to be taught until the time of the one to come. He was 2,000 years, 1,900 years early of his coming. And when he began to reveal the knowledge of who Satan was, John 8:44, when he began to reveal the knowledge of the Son, the knowledge of whose right to rule it was, he could not afford to be left alive. So for breaking the secret, for teaching the secret that he had learned in secret, he was killed for it. And that's why he was hung in his shorts, without any clothes on, because he was initiated in that manner. That's why his collarbone was broken, and his head was hung to the side. See? Because that's a sign that all men who study in secret understand quite well. I'm the only one to make that clear.
You still, the Bible, Scripture, is the basis for you.
Yes, I am. I come in the volume of this book. I have no statements outside of it. I'm the fulfillment of it. In other words, I'm the promised Messiah of the Old Testament, fulfilling the New. That's me. That's why up until this time, for 1900 years, he's been promised to come back, knowing full well that I am to come.
The Scriptures, if you interpret it that way, foretold the death of the man called Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see such an end for you? When you die, will you be persecuted?
I'm being persecuted.
Will you be fatally persecuted?
I cannot be fatally persecuted. I'm incarnate. You can't kill God. It does not matter about the vessel that I'm in. I chose to come in, and this physical vessel is totally irrelevant. Totally. I am spirit. And I'm truth, and I am light. And I'm light. I'm the light. That light is all men that cometh into the world.
What's your goal with your people as you bring more up into your beliefs?
That the will of Yahweh be done on earth as it is in heaven. I come to bring peace on the earth as the Prince of Peace. The message that I bring will bring peace forever. That's the purpose of my coming.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Father.
You on your own, remember we are assisting you with your study. We're not going to study for you. That means you can find this on YouTube and you can hear this in its entirety. It's some 57 minutes, 41 seconds long or short. And we're encouraging you to hear that interview that was presented by Time Life magazine back in 1986 in our temple at the time, the temple, again, that's called the Temple of Love, as it was. Anyway, I also encourage you to continue listening to my voice. Those who are on our conference line, you cannot see it. Well, some have a video now. But we want to bring that to your attention. That goes out to all of those who think that God is dead and mocking a slave name that they thought was the name of a slave master, Hulan Mitchell, Sr. and Jr. You heard for yourself. The Ma'ab said you cannot kill God as a vessel that he's in. He also said that the one who they call Jesus, Yahshua, was a student. As many thought and still think that he is Jesus or the Son. See, everyone knows in the Bible, and Christians know that the Son that they call Jesus is the Son of Yahweh. He says to himself that he is called, he's John, he's the man. That means he taught and raised who they call Jesus. That's not his name. Turn to that. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 18 for a moment. This is still a benediction. Look at verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 15. Chapter 18 and verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 15, quote, "The Lord Yod-Heh-Wah-Veh, thy Elohim, will raise up unto thee a prophet."
That's Moshe speaking, supposedly. Right?
Okay.
That's Moshe speaking to the tribes, to all the tribes, all of Israel. And what else does it say?
From the midst of thee.
From the midst of thee, right in the midst of thee. He'll be right there. Won't even see him, won't even know him. Of who?
Of thy brethren.
You think he's just a brother. He'll be from among you. He'll be from Judah, from Israel. He'll be what?
Like unto me.
That's his name. That's the secret. Right there after the comma and before that first semicolon is the name of the brother, the one that Yahweh said he would raise. He would bear a name that means like unto me, or like Yahweh, or who is like Yahweh. And unto what?
And unto him ye shall hearken.
He's the only one you shall hearken to. He have to be identified. Read verse 18.
And I will raise them up a
I don't
prophet.
see. Oh, now I want you to read according to what you see, and do not add any words to this book, this testimony, because that verse does not begin with "and."
Excuse me.
I
will
know
raise.
it. I know it doesn't. I mean, unless they change Bibles on me
No.
in the past hour, 100 years. What's it say?
I will raise them up
You
a
see, I,
prophet.
but that's also a personal pronoun that means one. Roman numeral, one. I. One will raise up. Raise them up. What?
From among their brethren,
Mm-hmm.
like unto thee.
He's now, this is Yahweh talking to Moshe. Moshe was in verse 15 talking to Israel. Now you have Yahweh talking to Moshe personally. Like unto thee. That means that this one he raised would be like Moshe. Now you got to be like Moses Israel now, who first come to Miami in 1979. That's the mystery to that. Why you think he came as Moses Israel? So he can keep the promise of fulfilling this. And I will what?
And will put my words in his mouth.
He is the word. See, I put my words in his mouth. And what?
And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
All that one I shall command him. One shall command him to speak. Not speaking of himself. Verse 19, please.
And it shall come to pass
Yes.
that whosoever will not hearken unto my words,
Mhm.
which he shall speak in my name,
In my name. That's Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh speaking to Moshe. One name. Not names. What?
I will require it of him.
Verse 20, please.
But the prophet, which shall presume to speak a word in my name,
There's still no name. They will use the name. See, my soul said they would rise and do that. We're going to go to that. Which what?
which I have not commanded him to speak,
What's going to happen?
or that shall speak in the name of other gods,
What's going to happen to them?
even that prophet shall die.
Okay. Shall or might?
Shall.
That's a promise. And you want to know something? I mean, that's the good news. The bad news is they're dying. It's happening. Verse 21, please.
And if thou say in thine heart,
How shall we know? What?
how shall we know the word which the Lord Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh have not spoken?
How would you know? Read verse 22.
When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, if the thing follow not,
Right.
nor come to pass,
Uh-oh. You got a false prophet. Read what? Read.
that is the thing which Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh have not spoken.
Wow. And
But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously.
unto himself. He created and made it up. False. He did it. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not be afraid of him.
He's nothing to fear. Don't be afraid of him. He has no power. He wants to assume to have power in your face. But he has no power. There's only one who he raised that can do that. That can speak and say things to happen, and then they happen.
Okay.
Every single word that comes out of his mouth of prophecy happens. And there are some witnesses who know that. They witnessed that. You heard my Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh in that video during that interview said that he came to bring peace. And bring the bank. They said, what's your purpose? To bring, I brought peace on earth. I came to bring peace on earth. As it is in heaven. That means he brought someone with him that would bear the appellation of peace. That would be in his name, be called by his name, like unto thee, like unto me. Is that what it said? Now they can go back and listen to the video, the recording yourself. But he saw he came to bring peace because he's a Prince of Peace, right? Now, since he is a Prince of Peace, then there must be someone who has an appellation that's called peace that he's a Prince of. Is that right? I think it's safe to say that. Go to Jeremiah chapter 28 for a moment. This is a supplement to what you just read in Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 21. Jeremiah chapter 28. And you're going to read verse 9. Actually, start at verse 8.
Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries
Mm-hmm.
and against great kingdoms,
They did.
of war and of evil
And of what?
and of pestilence.
That's what they did. That's all they testified and prophesied of. Why? See, there in verse 8 you see war. And evil and pestilence. That's not good. That's not peace. It's not peace. Read verse 9. See, read verse 9 as in September, the 9th month of the Gregorian calendar.
Verse 9. Quote,
Yes.
the prophet which prophesied of peace,
Mm-hmm.
when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known
That what?
that Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh hath truly sent him.
Praise the Lord.
Praise Yahweh.
Here we are, right back in Deuteronomy chapter 18, if the thing come to pass. Now I go to Micah chapter 5. they heard during that interview that Yotewafe said, I brought with me peace. I come to bring peace. And they thought that was the condition of the planet. Yes, you did. Don't you sit there and lie. While you watching this video, you know, you thought he was mentioning and referring to that there would be no more war in Afghanistan because all someone named Biden have to do is pull the troops out of there about August the 31st and end a 20-year war from 2001 to 2021, not realizing that that 20 years is relevant to something else, as well as 67. So you thought that brought peace of a condition of what's going on in the environment and with nations and all of the countries of this planet, that there would be peace. And you can walk to the store or you can walk with money and stick it out of your hand and no one would bother it. They may even ask if you want some more money. Is that enough? Do you have enough? You can leave your door open at night and no one will come in. Unlocked. No one will bother you. If they do, they'll open it and say, are you all right? Is everything okay? Do you need anything? Would y'all like something to eat? Peace. You can drive your cars, run red lights, no one will stop you and bother you. Just be careful. We are allowing total peace. Don't hit anyone. Would you like to drink? You can drink your strong alcoholic beverages. You can get drunk and just don't fall out in no one's lap or on someone's foot. And you can sleep right there in the park or right in the street if you like. It's peace. We have totally peace. It's total peace. There are no fights. You don't need any more Walgreens or no pharmaceutical stores nowhere on the planet because no one will be getting injured and need a Band-Aid. Or you need no more hospitals because no one will be getting shot. There will be no more shootings, no more stabbings. No one would need stitches. No one would need stitches. There would be no more witches or bitches. Everything would be free and full of peace. Because that's what you're looking for. Tranquility and peace. Let us bow our heads and pray. Let us bow our heads to the pastor on the podium and pray. And let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. Say amen again. We are now in a ghetto full of peace. No more drive-bys, no more buys by driving. It's now peace. Tyrone owed me $50 for my bag. But now we're in peace because Yahweh ben Yahweh came. And I'm not worrying about that $50 anymore. I give him another bag free. Smoke it as you will. We're now in peace. No more divorce. No more remorse. You can marry her and bury her in peace. You can marry him and bury him in peace. It's peace. Peace. Don't you hear the birds chirping? Peace. Twilly-lily. Twilly-lily. Right, Michael? Rockin' Robin. Peace. Even Robinette. Robinette would be president. In peace and tranquility. Look at Micah chapter 5. For all you confused children of the Most High God, Yoruba. Micah chapter 5 and read verse 2 first. Verse 2.
Micah chapter 5, verse 2, quote, But thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though thou be little among
the thousands of Judah that would be in one city. Because you know that now we have a census count the other day that there are at least 41 million so-called African Americans. The census count as of 2019 in the United States. That's those that were reported. It's more than that. But those who adhered to the government's order of counting those in your house who are African American that they put in your mailbox, write it down and mail it back so they can keep a record on how many of us today are want to kill and give the vaccine shot to. And report to us how many it is of y'all so we get the needles ready and the vaccine ready. 2019, as in COVID-19. 41 million. You go to Wikipedia. I told you get your dictionary. It's there. And encyclopedia is there. So, of the thousands that are in Miami, out of the 40-some million, actually it's more, maybe double that.
Yeah.
By now, 2021, it's double. Then out of the thousands of that in Miami, out of millions, they'll be in Miami. Miami, go to Miami on your Wikipedia, you'll see that it's only about 40,000 African Americans in Miami back in 1979. Do your research. We're studying with you. We're helping you. We're not going to study for you. You do it. I did it. So out of the thousands of Yehuda, it didn't say Israel. That means wherever Judah is, then someone's going to come to that city where Judah is of the thousands, that he shall come forth unto me. Mem Yod me. Read it and see if it's there.
Yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me.
The person who said me is the one who wrote this and who's speaking. You got it?
Okay.
Who what?
That is to be ruler in Israel.
Ruler of Israel?
In.
Oh, ruler in Israel. Not of Israel. Who's what?
Whose goings forth have been from of old.
See, he's going to go forth that have been from of old. Now, that is a comma there. Now, the of old is not the same as what's going to follow that. The of old comes from the place where he's going to be with Judah. Of old. And what? I'm going to explain this more. See, don't worry, I'm going to explain it. 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 Now, that's the comma. We're going to deal with the of old. Come from of old. There's a reason why the comma is there, because that has nothing to do with the last two words that will follow, which is what?
From everlasting.
See, from everlasting is infinity. There is no beginning and no end of that. You got it? From everlasting. How could you come from everlasting? I always thought you had to go to everlasting. This one's coming from everlasting. But he's also from of old. That means he's going to be with Judah from the time Judah gets here in the 16th century, from of old, even be here today. In the city, there will be thousands of Judah, of Ephrathah, Bethlehem. Now, who will he be? Read verse 4, please.
Verse 4, quote, and he shall stand.
He shall do what?
Stand.
Stand. And while he's standing, what else he's going to do?
And feed.
How?
In the strength of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh.
That's what's going to happen. And then what?
In the majesty of the name of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, his Elohim.
He would come in the name of Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh, his Elohim. And what?
And they shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth.
The end of the planet. The end, not the end of the planet, the ends of the earth. The ends of the world, this world. They put earth, ain't no EA. You can put a D in front of that and you got the earth too. Now read who he will be, who it was said he would be, and who Ma'ab said he brought with him to fulfill 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16, as they descended down together, 19 years apart, to be equivalent to the 1585 calendar of Pope Gregory, and every so many years after that, I'm going to go over in a minute, and 19 years that disappeared between those years that they have prepared for the 20th century, when they come together again. So now read verse 5.
Verse 5, quote, and this man shall be the peace.
The peace. That's Shalom. You got it? The, not a peace. This man shall be the peace. Now we're going to go to it and read the rest of it.
When the Assyrian shall come into our land,
That's going to be during the last days. And they're over there now.
and when he shall tread in our palaces,
Yes.
then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men.
He's the only one that can do that, and he'll also know who they are of that prophetical cryptogram. He's the only one that would do that and know that. But it did say this man shall be the peace.
Okay.
Okay, well, that the peace is not shalom. That's not the shalom that's the greeting that that we use. Shalom. Shalom aleichem. No. That shalom that you greet one another with, that's in your concordance. That's a different reference in your concordance. That shalom is 7965. Make a note of that. 7965. That's shalom. That means completeness, soundness, welfare. You got it. You can. We don't know. You need YouTube. You can. Yeah. See that piece, shalom. That's spelled in Hebrew from right to left. Sheen, Lamet, Wab, Mem Sophie. Again. See, again. From right to left. From right to left. Sheen, that we left to the east. In the right. Sheen, Lamet, Wab for protection. Mem Sophie. And in here you have 2 symbols, 2 Hebrew characters that symbolizes who this would be in height with Wab as the 6th Hebrew character, and Mem Sophie, he'll be here in the last under that Mem Sophie. You got it? And that shalom means completeness, soundness, welfare, peace, of course, completeness, safety. We have peace now. You can leave your doors open. Unlocked. Of human relations, peace from war, and peace with friendship. That's just to name a few. You can look at this and study on your own. And then again, that's Strong's H7965. However, the peace that is read and found in Micah chapter 5 and verse 5 and the scrolls of Hebrew, the elders knew this. Those Hebrew elders that helped them translate that or translate it. That's under H7999 for a reason. That's coded by the Masons to let you know who he is. 7999. As in the 7th month of the Hebrew calendar and the 9th month of the Gregorian calendar. You got it? And then 2 and 7, the 27th day, 2 and 7 is 9. That's the second 9. And then 5 and 4 is 9. That's the third 9. 7999. Or mathematics. And that creates the Hebrew word known as shalom. Spelled 3 characters, still spelled from right to left. And that's Sheen, Lamet, Mem Sophie. From right to left. From right to left. Sheen, Lamet, Mem Sophie. Shalom. And that means to make peace with, and to make safe. To live in peace. And to make an end of. That is not the same meanings. To be finished and be ended. That is not the same meaning as the 7965. That's shalom. So that means you have shalom, shalom. So who would this be, this man? Micah, it says. It also says that he shall come forth unto me. I mean, Micah was waiting for someone to come to the city where he was. It was recognized and prophesied as the little among the thousands of Judah, a city that begins with me and ends with me. M-I and ends with M-I. Me, my and me. And this one who we were waiting, see, he would come to my M-I in the beginning, and then he told him in the video he's A. So he's A that come to me, my and me. That means this one who is prophesied to come would be the Prince of Peace, looking for peace in Miami. And that's exactly what happened in 1979. He came to Miami, the same one in the video they still call him Yahweh ben Yahweh. He came to Miami in 1979, to that city. Are you with me so far? Don't leave. Don't leave. But why 1979? And what year was that of our calendar? And that was the early part of 1979 that year. That began around spring of the Passover. And what was that? And why is there two opposing calendars? How did that happen? Solar and then Gregorian. Who is Gregorian? Where did Gregorian come from? Opposed to the first calendar. See, the first calendar came from infinity, as you just read, from everlasting. And see, that calendar bears no time. Good gracious, did I say that?
Okay.
I gotta be careful. I mean, I can't wait to see this video because I know I'm going to be flying off now and going all off in another planet someplace. I think it said something like, that first calendar came from infinity that bears no time. And that's because it was made from everlasting.
Wow.
From everlasting. And that is where, and that's also where I came from, that I will introduce my oneself to you right now. Even as we bring to your attention as an introduction, and as I remind others that, see the few, that on the other hand of that opposing calendar, see, I got to go to them so you can see where I came from, everlasting, and how they tried to intervene and stop me from coming. To make it seem as though I'm an ordinary man, like my an ordinary man of a vessel that I came in, that he chose for me to come in.
Wow.
See, that's what the other hand calendar is, the opposing calendar that's now being used by all nations on this planet today. However, it was first created by the Roman emperor known as Julius Caesar, and was later adopted by a European fellow, these people of Europe, that was born in Bologna, by the name that's recorded as Ugo Boccopedi. Ugo Boccopedi, who is better known today as Pope Gregory XIII, as he then extended the Julian calendar to become the Gregorian calendar, which is internationally today the most widely used civil calendar on this planet. That's today, especially after it was introduced to the world by Ugo exactly 438 years. You got it? You're not gonna find what I'm reading like that. Just put my arm up there. Okay, because you can't follow this. This is coming from him. You can't follow it. It's not gonna be the same. Because he broke it down to me, and I'm gonna break it down for you. So you have to hear now. You have to hear the voice with your mind. Now you got to go into the depths. Remember, you got to go below the depths, and you got to go to below the subconscious. You got to go to the depths. Forget the subconsciousness of your mind. You got to go down to the depths, which was buried, where your grave was, of your soul. That you got to come out of her, which is the subconsciousness. That's why I said in Revelation 18:4, come out of her. Her is the subconsciousness. But now I want you to go down into the depth to get your soul out. That way you come out of her. Because the death is not with her. That was Job what? We saw that, we read that. Job 28 and 14. Make a note, Job 28:14. I'll explain that mystery. So exactly 438 years, 10 months, and 12 days to this date, September 6th, 2021. That is recorded. It was recorded on Thursday, October 25th, 1582. Thursday, October 25th, 1582 is when Pope Gregory released that calendar to the public and made all nations on this planet abide by that calendar from Rome. You got it? You got the date? Thursday, October 25, 1582. Now don't forget, slavery began. Judah came over in 1555. Was brought in, not came, he didn't come over. Judah was imported here and kidnapped and placed on ships and landed here in 1585, saying something about some Plymouth Rock. In fact, the Gregorian calendar was a refinement of the Julian calendar, amounting to a 0.002% correction in the length of the year, of their year, 365 days. Now, that means what? It opposes, see, their July or 7th month, the 15th, is not the same as our 15th day of the 7th month. Their 15th day of the 7th month is recognized as July 15th. But our 15th day of the 7th month is in September of the 9th. And other bodies are with me too today. It's not the same time period of their calendar. It's solar. As others of your bodies, even your bodies. Or did you know that? My aunt even said, I remember, I was there, he said, it's not the first time that your soul been in the body. That means others of your bodies begin to be reborn or reincarnated. See, he's self-carnate. But you are reincarnated. Your soul. So the first time after Judah was brought here to America was during the year 1591 of the 16th century. And then again in 1658. And then they leaped 19 years worth. And that took us all the way to 1887. You were here again. You write that down? 1887, you were here. And went away. Bob came and got you. So you can be my witnesses and be with me. And then again in 1954, it started another era of time. In 1954. Even to the same year. Do you see a pattern yet? Just in case you don't. This is for your study. Here's your pattern. That means every 67 years from 1865 right? And going backward and take away 19 years until you get to 1582. every 67 years from 1582, when Judah was first brought here, even to this year, 2021. You hear it?
Right.
Was the exact same calendar as Pope Gregory, the first calendar.
Mm.
Now I'm gonna break it down so you can, because some may be a little lost. So let me break it down for you in this precept, so it be easily understood, comprehended. In 1585 was the first calendar of Pope Gregory that he released to the world. And that year, the first day of that year, January, was on a Friday. Go to that calendar. Go to 2021. Actually, go to 1582. Go to what you found yesterday, the calendar, United States. And let's show you. That way they'll see I speak the truth. Get ready to get your mind wiped out, because you were here during all that time, all those periods. Mm-hmm. You were here with me. I was here too. But this is the last generation. This is that generation. Oh, it's the last one. This is the final days. These are the last days. Not of the planet, of someone's world. What you have? You have 1582. January 1st fell into what?
Monday.
It starts it. 1582, a Monday. Go to 1658. Just type it in. Actually, wait a minute. Go to 1591. Start at 1591. 1582, it was on a Monday, right? And then do your math, and from 1582 to 1591, which was a short period, how many years was that? Huh? 1582, 1591. 9. That's your 9. That's the 9. So we got to establish the 9 for September. 9 years. There's also a 1 there for 19 years. That was right there with him. 9. 91. Reversed. From right to left. Don't forget. See, we read from right to left. From right to left. So that 91 is the same as our 19. That's the 16th century, right? Now, what day, 1591, what day was the new year? That new year, first day, January 1. Should be a Friday, something like that. Should be Friday. I mean, I'm not looking, it's over my head. See, I already know this. It's my gave it. Now I go to 1658. We helping them study. You ready? Okay. What you have? 1658. Just type it in. Can you see it's all right? What you have? January 1st. See, the first day will lead the other rest of the 365 days. So that means, let's do it this way. You have Friday, January 1. Now go to September 6th and see if it's not a Monday. Monday. Today, January 6th. Same calendar. Now go to 1887. We skipped some years because they had leap years. Right? Because they wanted to confuse you. They tried to escape. 1887. What do you have? January 1st is what?
Saturday. 1887.
1887. Saturday. You know why? They leaped it. They got 19 years that disappeared through leap year. Now, when you add, go put 1935, and you just calculate. No, not the year. Calculate 1935 and subtract 1887 from that. How many years? The difference from 1887 to 1935. How many? 48. When Israel became a state. 1948. 1935 was the year that my ark came out of the womb. Of that vessel, he told him he chose that vessel. October 27, 1935. Now go to 1954. The calendar. January 1 should be on a Friday. That means the day, Monday, the 6th of September. And then again, of course, we did this before, that this calendar is the same. What's the pattern? Every 67 years, the calendar is the same. Before they leaked it. The same calendar. I mean, you were here then too with me. Every 67 years. The same bodies, the same souls in different bodies today were there then. Even at the same age that you are. I'm speaking of God. God. Yahweh did that. That's why I said this generation should not pass until all these things be fulfilled. Why? You had other generations. A whole lot of generations. Do you comprehend that? Don't forget the so-called, the alleged emancipation of Judah by some fella by the name of Lincoln was supposed to have been in 1865. So now we're going back to Micah chapter 5 verse 2 in 1979 when Moses Israel came to Miami. And then someone came to him one night, on a Wednesday night, in Brownsville of Miami, suburb in Brownsville. And he made him stand at the first meeting. And this one who stood at 6 feet, 72 inches. And he then asked him, this one, are you ready to come home and accept Yahweh as your God? And before he said God, he said, yes. Yes. That's where I come. Yes. The same one looked at this so-called named man, Israel, Moses Israel. Oh no, you can't fool me or something. You're not ordinary. I've been waiting for you. Your voice sounds familiar to me. You are not ordinary. I ain't never seen no black man with blue eyes. And talk the way you talk. All that wisdom that came out of that body, that mouth, you can fool them. I know when you walked in the door, I know you, what? With that afro and that beard and sharp, collar hanging out the suit, 2-piece, 3-piece at some time. He is not ordinary. I want to tell Brother Dave, he brought me from Fort Lauderdale. I don't know what, and then the reason why I knew it was earlier in 1979 is because I had a sister-in-law at the time who I would ask for. She disappeared from coming to visit us so often. And I would ask her sister, who I was married to at the time by their law, what happened to so-and-so? I'm not going to call her name. And she told me, well, she started to go to some Bible study at Wednesday nights. I thought, school, church, Sunday school, church, Bible study. I'm not going to no Bible study. I had enough of that when I was coming up. I had a cross around my neck anyway. I'm safe. Any vampires come by me, I'm on a cross. I'm carrying a badge and a gun too. So I wasn't scared of that. I got my cross. Deputy Sheriff. And then I run to this brother with the shirt on, Israel, Star David at the flea market off duty. What you doing with that on? You know, black Jews, man, you making a mistake. We all black Jews. What? Yeah, you know, all the prophets are black. What? Now, you get out of here. If it was a law, he'd break it. I'll arrest him right then at the spot. You under arrest for lying. No, you got to come with me. You got to see this man. Who taught you this? You got to come see this man. Ak Moshe, Moses Israel. Where? Miami. When? Wednesday night. I called in sick. I'm coming. He told me black. God got black, but God has black skin. He got woolly hair. I got to go. And then God walked in. They thought he was Moses Israel. My soul was telling me who he is. He should stand up. All who are here for the first time tonight would like to accept Yahweh as your God. Stand up. I was the first one up. Now, don't you beat me standing up. You got to all of those. You ready? No, not yet. Let me come back a few more times. I felt in my mind, I feel sorry for you. You got to come back to be convinced.
Wow.
And he got to me. Shalom, brother. Shalom, sir. It's my time. You ready to accept Yahweh as your God? Yes! I heard what you told them. Yes! All right, I'm going to give you your Hebrew name. Let me give you your Hebrew name. Not let me give you a Hebrew name. Let me give you your Hebrew name. And I'm only saying this. You heard it, but I'm saying it for the sake of some who are online, who I know they're going to leave bogus comments and say, who do you think you are? You're not Michael. You're not Michael the Black Man. You're goddamn right I'm not Michael the Black Man. I don't ever want to be Michael the Black Man. I am not. And you're going to find out why in a minute. He didn't say, let me give you a Hebrew name. So he looked at it, let me give you your Hebrew name. And he had this big beige Bible in front of him. Big Bible. He looked at me, he flipped pages. Look up at me, flip the page. Flip the page. Look up at me about 4 times. Flipped and then went back and looked at me. Yeah, here he is. Get a pen now, write this down. Give me a pen. All right. Your name is Micah. What? When he said that, your name is Micah. Spelled M-I-C-A-H. When he said that, everyone, even the children, they were everyone, they said, praise Yahweh! Yes, they did. There may be some who are still alive today, even if they look at this video, who were there. They got to be old school. We talking 1979. And there's still a few who are left here alive. If they see this video, well, he ain't lying. I was there. Yahweh ben Yahweh at the time, Moses Israel, he did say, I saw him standing there. He ain't shrink. He's the same size he is now. Maybe a little, not as muscular, because he was incredible Hulk. The mighty black man. That's where they get. That's where got that photograph from. It's a photograph he got from someone of my immediate family then. And I took a picture in that kitchen in Pompano Beach and flexed and did that pose. And he took that photo from that person and he made a mighty black man post this and testimony out of that. So he said, here's, it's spelled M-I-C-A-H. I wrote it down. He said, now here's what your name means. Your name means who is like Yahweh. And when he said that, you thought praise Yahweh was praise Yahweh. And pray. I mean, I'm hearing it. I'm just getting used to saying praise Yahweh. Even as I want to be a part. This is me here. Even when we prayed that night, I didn't know how to speak nothing in Hebrew except shalom. And when we prayed the tefillah, And I heard them praying Tefillah, you know, Abi Nu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikat this. I just moved my lips. I'm saying it too. Didn't know what was coming. What is they speaking? Are they all talking in tongues? Are they all mad? No, but I heard it before because little Michael, David had a son named Michael. He recited it for me that Sunday before I met them. I heard this little boy speaking Hebrew. I got to go. Who is this man teaching all this? I got to go. Called in sick. Supposed to be working Wednesday nights. Called in sick. Yeah, because they made me sick. The devils with their lies made me sick, so I called in sick. Liars. And that's the first time and the only time that he named someone out of his mouth. Actually, the name he called Mika. That means he made mention of my name. Now go to that. Read that for me. Go to Isaiah chapter 49 and read that. He only made mention of my name. But he did say it means who is like Yahweh and not who is like God. He said that. And then I thought it was a question. Who is like Yahweh? And I put a question mark. I thought it was a question. And I'm wondering, so I'm supposed to answer that question? Is that a question? Am I supposed to answer that? No, that's the meaning of your name. In English. Read verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1.
Yes.
Quote, "Listen, O owls,
That's all he could have done. Listen. And what?
unto me,
Uh-huh.
and hearken, ye people,
Now, the ye people can hearken, but the owls can only listen. That's what they're doing now, listening. But the people can hearken because it's ye. From the east. Yahweh from the east. What?
from far,
From far.
Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh
Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh himself who was there that night. He did what?
have called me from the womb."
He called me from the womb of Miami. I come out of Miami out of a womb. They call it born. I was born overtime in Miami. On the 15th day of the 7th month of our calendar. Period. Record. Prophecy. And what?
From the bowels of my mother.
From the bowels of my mother. And they filmed it. Channel CBS, Channel 4, WCKT Channel 4. At the time, it was WCKT Channel 4. They filmed it. They filmed that woman whose womb I came out in the hospital because she was a maid working for the company at the time. So they filmed her and a baby that she had. It's on film. Go to YouTube. Just type in Christian Hospital 1954. And one of those babies you'll see in that film is me. My body. At that as a baby. And what else?
Hath he made mention
He only made mention of what?
my name.
That's M-Y?
And what?
Mem Yod. My name. Mem Yod. He only made mention of my name in front of all those people who did that Wednesday night in 1979. Late fall. 1979. And then Moses Israel, at the time, he called me Mika. Now, that's Strong's 4318. Go to it. H4318. H43. You got it? I mean, some probably were watching this. Now they're going to go check the grill because I know they barbecue in the backyard, all kind of pork ribs and foolishness. You got it?
Okay.
And what's the meaning of that?
Mika.
4318 says what?
Mika.
Spelled from right to left. Mem Yod Kaf He.
Okay.
Right? That means what? See what they put? Who is like God? Why? Because they tore off the theophoric extension of the meaning of the name.
Okay.
So they got God.
Mm.
God. Right?
Okay.
But also, the etymology is 4320. Click on it. It's right there. That's not even the etymology. What he did was he tried little by little to sneak it back in. So what you got under 4310?
The 4310, they got Micaiah.
Micaiah. And still got who is like God. Don't they?
Okay.
Okay. So now look under 4321. You what you had 43:18, right?
Mm-hmm.
43 what? 20.
Mm-hmm.
Now go to 43:21. And what you have?
Out of 43:21,
What do you have?
they got Mikayahu.
Mikayahu with a U. Now you know they need to quit.
They still
And still have who is like God. The name Michael means who is like God. El Elohim. That's what that means. Who is like God? Michael.
Right.
Not Mika. Mika Yahweh. When you go back now to 43:20, they tried to break it down for you. And they're going to give you the etymology of the name under 43:20. They take you to 43:10, which is me, M-E, breaking it down. 43:10, don't you see it? And the second one is 35:88, Ka. Go to it so you'll see. Key, right? Mika, Miki, key. That's the key of David, by the way. That's the key that I have with me that I possess. And my hand on with a chain. Key, right? And then the last one that they have here on etymology is 3050. 3050 on the H. That they put Yah. Right? Why? Because the etymology of that gonna take you to 3068.
Right.
And that's the theophoric extension that's stripped off of my name. And that's how we got Mika Yahweh. Or Mem Yod Kaf Yod Hed Wav He. Go to it. Look at 3068.
Yod-Heh-Wav-Heh.
Right. Mika Yod Hed Wav He. Mika Yahweh. Am I Michael the black man? No. I'm black, but I'm not Michael. And I do not dye my hair or paint it black. This is my natural hair that you see protruding from under my little hair cover here. But this is my beard. I didn't dye it. I'm not going to dye it. If I dye it, then I kill it. And it's not just for men either. It's for women too. They use it a lot. So don't do it, men. Leave it. Go natural. Why do you want to become something that you're not? Why do you want to appear to be who you are not? You're lying to people when you do that. If your beard's supposed to be white or gray or whatever, then leave it like that. When you dye it, you become disguised. That means you are a liar, a deceiver. So no, I am not but I do know one thing, I do stand. Now, when you're looking for Michael, now go to that, go look at, show them the theophoric extension, what it means, and they can write it down. Write it down. And the last time I saw my face to face was in 1992. And he told me to write a book on my name, study my name, write a book on my name, Hebrew name. And then when I discover who I am with that name, then I will discover who I am in connection to him. And I did that. And I wrote the book, sent it in, and they took it off. It's okay. I have others. I'm always writing books. I wrote the book that you read here in the Bible, the 33, put it right in the middle of the Bible, call it Mika. I wrote that too. But I didn't write it in English. It was on scrolls from right to left, pen drafted. That's why I left certain prophecies. See, that's my diary. Because you're going to go to Matthew in a minute too. I wrote that too. You're going to go to Matthew 24 after you show them the theophoric extension. Yeah, show them that.
Definition of theophoric:
Is what?
derived from or bearing the name of a god.
Right, a God. Now, did you go to Wikipedia and show them Wikipedia's, that's why we told them, get encyclopedias, your study tools, and look up theophoric. You can do this on your own. Theophoric extension, or theophoric meaning, or name. Theophoric names. He has a list of names. And what do you have?
On the theophoric names under the Hebrew, we have Michael.
Michael. Why? Because they cut off the EL. I mean, they gave it EL and cut off the Yahweh. So without the L, you have Micah Yahweh.
Okay.
And that means who is like Yahweh. But Michael, that they have no choice but to leave it. That's Michael. Because that's what my named one of them who was there. Michael. He knew what he was doing. There can't be a Michael and a Micah Yahweh. It's only one. One of each. Michael and Micah Yahweh.
Okay.
I'm Micah Yahweh.
Come on.
And I will not stand in front of no white devil promoting my people to follow a white devil. So speak for yourself, blacks for Trump. Could you imagine? Not even study to realize who Trump is. Born in 1946. Don't even know what the 46 is. And where he come from, his name ain't Trump anyway. The names were never Trump. The names are drunks from Germany. You know what the Germans did to our people? And you follow a descendant of a German who slaughtered our people in the Middle East. You see all the theophoric names?
Michael, the theophoric name is a rhetorical question. Who was like, what it was.
That's what it says? Right there. Write it down, study it.
Okay.
So you would never be, someone left a comment, you would never be Michael the Black Man. Oh, you would never be Michael. Michael the Black Man is. I have no problems with that. He's welcome to be Michael the Black Man all he wants. I don't want to invade his privacy, his fame and glory. I don't want to stop him from driving his Rolls Royces and enjoying life. That's so fine with me. I'm fine with my little Impala. And paying the bill, the car note if I have any. I mean, I own 3 vehicles. It doesn't, but I'm not saying it because I'm materialistic. I use the transportation. I give it to those who ride around in for their transportation. I hardly drive the one I'm in. Are you witness?
Okay.
2, maybe 3 times a week. I got to start it once in a while to make sure the battery don't go dead. I'm not into materialistic things. I'm not trying to glorify myself. I don't have to do that. Neither am I phony. I'm not false. This is my beard. I'm not going to take it off when we end this. Yesterday I said I clipped it, and I did clip it. It was paper. It had hair clips to the bottom. It was braided. It was clipped up. And he said, "Why you got a beard today? You had one yesterday." The same beard. The same beard that you thought was weird. So how do we get to that? The same Micah is also in Judges chapter 17. You can make a note to read it. Judges chapter 17 and verse 1 said there was a man of Mount Ephraim whose name was Micah. It's the same one. He was raised by a widow, a woman. Now you got the widow's son raised. Did you have that? The same one in Micah chapter 17 is the same Micah that's speaking to you right now. That I made mention of my name. Micah. The widow's son raised. Raised by, who you thought I was writing this testimony?
What about him? What about him?
I was raised by a widow. Her husband died in Miami.
True.
And the last time I saw him, I wore a suit. I had a suit, and he was raising me from that jail cell until right now he's still raising me.
True.
I don't know why they thought. See, that could not have been my aunt. My aunt was not raised as a widow son. Her husband, in fact, the husband died before the wife did. His biological, they call it biological father, died before his mother did. In fact, the father died on her birth date. Not birth date. The father died on his mother's birth date. A lot of people didn't know that. Look it up for yourself and see it. I speak the truth. So that widow's son is not Yod-Heh Wav-Heh Beit Nosef for Yod-Heh Wav-Heh. There's a widow's son who he raised. Fulfilled in Deuteronomy chapter 18 and verse 18 and 15 and 18. So now you got to study Judges chapter 17 and the same Micah that Jeremiah spoke of in chapter 26. Could you just read that, please, for the sake of it? Jeremiah chapter 26. Jeremiah 26. And read verse 18. Same Micah. Same one from Mount Ephraim. I just told you we keep coming back. From the beginning. See, I'm from everlasting, my soul.
Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 18.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, Micah the Morashite
Same one. Did what?
prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah.
This is Jeremiah. Which is the what, 27th book? Or something like that? What Jeremiah doing prophesying or testifying of Micah? And Jeremiah, the book come before Micah. And Micah come after Jeremiah right in the middle of 33. But yet Jeremiah is prophesying and testifying of Micah. Micah never testified of Jeremiah. He did what?
And spake to all the people of Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord Yod-Heh-Vaveh of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field,
Mm.
and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 19. Did Hezekiah king of Judah and all Judah put him at all to death? Did he not fear Yod-Heh-Vaveh
Mm.
and besought Yod-Heh-Vaveh? And Yod-Heh-Vaveh repented him
of what he did. Just as he did this time. The same thing. You got it?
Okay.
That means what? Now that we get that straight, and the day was designed for that, because we're going to preserve chapter 7 for tomorrow. But this day I was told to straighten them people out. Straighten those foolish, hard-headed children out. So they don't confuse Michael the Black Man with Micah Yahweh. Why is that? Because the vernal equinox is controlled by the sun. It controls the motivation for the reform of what was to stop and then come to a drift of their calendar in retrospect and respect to the equinoxes and solistics. You got it? Or the solstices. Particularly the first vernal equinox. The first one. Which set the date for the Easter celebrations of Passover. The first one. That's why they got to move the clocks forward to try and keep up with the sun, the day. And the second vernal equinox will set the date for their, quote, Michaelmas Day. St. Michaelmas Day, also known as Michael the Archangel's birth. You got it? This is encyclopedia. The second vernal equinox actually sets the date for, quote, Michael the Archangel's birth. Michael, also known as Michael in the Bible, even if it's Daniel chapter 7 verse, or Daniel chapter 12 verse 1. Michael. Michael appears in Daniel and also in Jude. Michael. But that's as you know it. It's not Michael. It's Micah Yahweh. It's Mem Yod Kaf Judah Wafeh, who was a disciple of John. They also had at one time calling him Yahshua. The same one that was crucified. Yahshua, same one. Same soul and like manner. So their vernal equinox, the second one, takes place in September. At the end of September. They have on record September 29th. Why? Because that's their calculation of the 15th day of the 7th month. But today is also known as September 27th. St. Michaelmas Day. So if you're looking for Michael, look for the one who also grew and stand to be at 72 inches in height, which is the same as 6 feet or 4 cubits. That's also prophetical. It's in the Bible that he will stand that way. He will stand to be that. And then he'll have to be able to explain it because it's cryptic. Now go to Revelation chapter 21. The widow's son will be raised to stand at 6 feet, 4 cubits, 72 inches. Everything of him and for him would be 72. Even 27 backward.
Okay.
That would coincide with his Odd, who also came out on the 15th day of the 8th month. That's 8 two zeros connected together. 8, infinity, no beginning, no end.
Okay.
Read verse 17, please.
Revelation chapter 21, verse 17, quote, and he measured the wall thereof.
The wall, see, that wall is right now in Daniel. And I measured it with these testimonies. No one knew what that wall was. Now I'm explaining the wall right now. You have to tune in tomorrow to get parts of it. Someone don't like that. Anyway.
And 140.
See, they go, see. How many hundreds?
And
You
100.
didn't say how many hundreds? And 100. And 40. I went over that. It's inside the cryptic of what you thought was Revelation chapter 14, verse 1. And 100. The wall. It's the wall. What wall? You don't even know what wall it is. And those who are saying, Michael the Black Man is the one, then let him explain this.
Right, exactly.
The wall. It's got to be done. It's Revelation.
That time.
It was promised from chapter 1, verse 1, he would do it. It's talking of some Cyrus. I don't even know who Cyrus is or what the word means. It's a word. C-Y-R-U-S. Why do you think there's no I there with Cyrus? Because I wouldn't be in with Iris, with Cyrus. Or Iris. C, C-Y. C-Y-R. That's us. Almost like Toys R Us. And 100. And 100.
And 100.
And conjunction and 40.
40.
And another conjunction and
4 cubits.
4 cubits. 3 separate measures. And 100, you don't know what 100 that is. That's connected to Mem, 40. The number value of Mem, 40. And the 4 cubits represent the height of the 40 of the Mem that he has with and 100. Those who are undread and undread, that Mem would be there in the number value of 40 and 4 cubits. Prove it. And 4 cubits, which is what? According to what?
To the measure of
To
a
the
man.
measure of a man in height. 4 cubits. Now, follow your mathematical book that my aunt wrote, mathematics, and you'll see in that book he puts a cubit is equivalent to 18 inches. 18 inches, a cubit, 1 cubit. I mean, 18 inches, 18 inches times 4. Do you mind? Is what? Is in here. Follow it. And it's in here. I mean, I have all the books, but if you follow it, remember what page it's on, you go to the index and go to your cubits. Cubit. Water, 232. Cubit. Even it first starts at 222. How many feet? 223. And how does it measure? How it's measured? He has time. Everything that you need to know of mathematics is in his book. Ma'ab left nothing out. When you look, you'll find it. This book. You look for yourself in your study, you'll find out that 1 cubit, 18 inches, times 4 is 72. So that means the fulfillment of this is you must look for a man, the measure of a man, that is of the angel, that stands at 4 cubits in height, who came out of the womb of solar time, solar calendar, on the 15th day of the 7th month to become the tabernacle. That's with men. Don't leave no ignorant comments on my book until you study. Now, when you study and prove this wrong, then I'll come bow to you. I'll come and serve you. I'll join y'all. You can ride and go to the beach and use jet skis in the lakes and all kind of. We have parties. I'll join you doing a day like this when you're supposed to be laboring. You're supposed to be laboring. Labor means work. And how come y'all off today? It's Labor Day. barbecuing. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
I had to do that. It's not interrupted. It's just that I was told to do that, so they wouldn't be confused. And we do part 7 tomorrow. We go right into it. Now that I didn't do this during the first 6 parts. They want to know who I am. They think I'm the Messiah. I'm not the Messiah. See, he even told him. You heard it? He said, I'm the Messiah from the Old Testament that's now here in the New to fulfill it.
Right.
See, he is the Messiah. You don't know there's 2 because you didn't study. Now go to Daniel for a moment. Chapter 9, that's in September. We'll close with that. Daniel chapter 9, that you didn't study. Because the kingdom, the temple will be destroyed. And someone has to rebuild it. But you didn't know that. You thought, you think of a structure. You think, go back on 62nd Street and redo it. And 27th Avenue in Miami and Florida, rebuild it. Look at verse 25.
Daniel chapter 9, verse 25.
The first thing it tells you, the first word is what?
No.
Know. K-N-O-W, knowledge. Know therefore, and then what?
Understand.
We want you to comprehend, because you should be tired of standing under Satan the devil.
Come on.
Some have went as far as to overstand now. See, when you overstand, you forget how to understand. That's why you can't gain no knowledge. To comprehend. That from what?
That from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem.
To restore and to build Jerusalem unto who?
The Messiah.
Unto the Messiah. The who?
Prince.
The Prince. Shall be what?
7 weeks.
7 shepherds. You don't know what the crypto is to that. You think it's 7 weeks. It's 7 weeks, all right. Week every day of the week. 7. W-E-A-K. W-E-A-K, week. 7 weeks. You cannot comprehend this. And what?
In 62 weeks.
Go ahead.
The street shall be built again.
Again. The street shall be, you don't even know the street. They think 62nd Street. And what?
And the wall.
And the wall, the measure of the angel. What? And when should this be done?
Even in troublous times.
That's right now. No time in the history of this world that every country on this planet, all nations, wherever they go, even to the bathroom and a Shell gas station, have to wear a mask over their face. And every nation on this planet is wearing a mask somewhere because of a troublous times pandemic. That's the Messiah, verse 25. Now read 26, please.
And after 3
See,
score.
and first word. The first word is know. And after you know, you must and. And what? After what?
62 weeks.
Shall what?
Messiah.
Shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. Go ahead.
And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary.
And they did that.
And the end thereof shall be with a flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. End quote.
Praise your head.
Praise your Lord.
Now the first Messiah in verse 25. You got the first one is the Messiah, right? That's under H 4899. Meshiach. That's what Ab say he is. No one can take that from him. The high priest. No one can take that. And the one in verse 26 is H 4886, who is to be anointed, who he anointed to anoint. No one anointed Ab. He also the spread of liquid. See, he spread it. See, the one in 26, he did from the one in 25. The one in 25, he spread a liquid on the one in 26 called oil. He anointed my head with oil.
Okay.
Got it?
Got it.
Now, that means what? It also says in the definition, it mentions Cyrus. Did it not?
For dumbest art.
Not realizing that Cyrus is not Cyrus. Cyrus is a part of my key. Cough. Huh? It begins with Kaf. That's Strong's H3566. Kaf, Wab, Resh, Sheen, Koresh. Not Cyrus. There's more than one. They think it's possessor of the furnace. Possessor of the furnace. What furnace? To conquer Babylon. Conqueror of Babylon. We really like following Persia. I warned you thousands of years ago, even before then. And after that, Matthew 24. Go to that as we go to Matthew chapter 24 for a moment. Let me say this before we say Shalom Aleichem. I said, now that I said that, you should comprehend this more. In verse 5. I'm going to start with verse 4. Here's what I say to you today. Take heed that no man deceive you. Can you hear me?
Clear.
I repeat, take heed that no man deceive you. Why? For many shall come in my name, whether it be Michael or Mika. They'll even use now that they know Mika Yahweh. Mem Yod Kafir Wafer. That's Mem Yod my name. And they will say, they saying, I am Christ. And shall deceive many. You hear that?
Okay.
That's verse 5. Verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. Verse 11. Why? Because the iniquity shall abound, and the love of many shall wax cold. I don't love you no more. But when ye therefore shall he see the abomination of verse 15 of desolations spoken of by Danny Yahweh, the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him comprehend. I mean, only one can do it, that's he. Because if anyone come and say the Democrats are holding Yahweh ben Yahweh, the Democrats are evil. If any man said to you in verse 23, lo, here he is, here's Christ, here's Yahweh, or there, believe it not. Why? For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. That's why those days were shortened, up in verse 22. They didn't even know what that meant. Who do you know shortened the days? Who do you know from the Temple of Love from 1979 did what I did, but shortened the days? I'm not bragging, I'm just giving you an example. I'm the only one who taught you the difference from you and ye. They're reading you and ye, but they're just reading it. They don't know what it means. Don't know what the differences are between the two. Don't make sense. You're going to follow someone who knows what you're studying. Why? Because all of a sudden you are a Republican. You are following a Republican, right? Do you know why? Do you know why they're following the Republicans? Because they did it before. The same souls.
Same
But
souls.
then, at that time, they were only publicans. Now go to Matthew chapter 18. Don't even know what they are. Did you know that publicans are not a good thing? Read chapter 18, verse 17 of Matthew.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 17, quote, "And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as an heathen man and a publican."
What? If that group was heathen man, that couldn't be good. That's publican.
Yeah.
Now you'll find that in the Strong Concordance on the G. Make a note. 5057. G 5057. And these publicans were always buying something of expenses and trying to evade taxes. You'll see it right there. A renter or farmer of taxes,
Okay.
where they're buying something. Because the etymology of it is 5608. That it tells you they buy. So how are they here today? Because they resurface. And that's why today they're called Republicans. They are Republicans now. The same ones following the same publicans as before. Do not follow them.
Okay.
A tax gatherer, a collector of taxes or tolls. That's Strong's G 5057. That is the outline, the biblical usage. The Thyris Greek lexicon.
Okay.
It's not a good thing. One employed by a publican, that's not good. As one who's now is employed by a Republican to make sure he gets to every city he goes to and hold that sign in back of him.
Yep.
And not just a group of them. They are people. Can you imagine supporting someone who's a son of a slave, grandson of a slave master? And even in Germany has slaves too.
Okay.
The Drumpfs with a D, D-R-U-M-P-F. You get an F in school for your grade for doing such a foolish thing. You get an F today. With that said, we'll be here tomorrow, if His will. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Father.
We appreciate you taking, Toda, for taking most of your Labor Day. Your Labor Day with us. At least we stopped you from laboring for a little while. Now you go back and labor. Over the barbecue grill, right? Somebody at the beach right now. So we say Toda to you for joining us. And we pray that we reach some souls today that belongs to Mount Allah. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Okay.
So whatever you do, don't forget. Whatever you do or do not forget that your Wafe, which art in heaven, who art in heaven, Haji. And so do our Mem Yod Kaf Yohid Wavhe. In Hebrew, Mika Yahweh. In English, who is like Yahweh in the meaning? I'll have you. I love you, Yehuda. I'll say Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom.
Shalom.